All right, ready to dive deep into digital media design, specifically how to nail that interview using RoleCatcher's insights. It's like a cheat sheet.
Yeah, a cheat sheet and more. We've got their career guide, the interview guide, and even a sneak peek at how RoleCatcher's AI can tailor your answers.
Okay, cool. So digital media designer, it's more than just making things look pretty, right? What's the real deal?
Way more than just aesthetics. You're blending creativity and tech skills, creating these compelling visual experiences. Websites, apps, social media, even VR and AR.
Oh, so many platforms. RoleCatcher has these 10 common interview questions for digital media designers, and some are kind of tricky. Want to jump into those?
Let's do it. Remember, it's not about the right answer, it's how you think, how you approach designing problems. Show them your process.
Makes sense. Okay, first up, can you describe your experience with Adobe Creative Suite? Sounds simple enough, but what are they really getting at?
They want to see your Adobe fluency. Don't just list the programs. Which ones are you really good at? Pick those and tie them to projects where you shined.
So instead of I'm good at Photoshop, say,
Exactly. More like, I'm really skilled in Photoshop, especially masking and layer blending. Use those a ton in my last role, creating product mock-ups for a big e-commerce campaign.
nice. That shows them what you can do.
Yeah.
Okay, what if they follow up about, say, Photoshop's 3D stuff, or how it works with other Adobe programs?
Prep is key. Brush up on the features relevant to digital media design. Maybe even a quick tutorial beforehand. They might ask about your workflow, too. Think, how do you use the programs together?
Gotcha. Be ready for anything. Question 2. How do you stay up to date with the design trends and changes in technology? More than just reading design blogs, right?
Definitely. Show your passion, your proactive learning. Instead of just naming blogs, mention courses you've taken, workshops, even personal projects where you use new tools.
So like, I finished a motion graphics course using Cinema 4D because I think kinetic typography is huge GE for social media.
Nailed it. You've got a trend, your active learning and how you apply it. They might challenge you on that trend, though. Be ready to explain why it matters, how it impacts users.
Stay informed and have an opinion. Okay, question 3. How do you approach a project from concept to final product? That's pretty broad.
Yeah, and that's where you show you're organized, strategic. Walk them through your typical workflow. Research, brainstorming, prototyping, user testing, final production. Hit those milestones.
So I start with in-depth research, figuring out the client's goals, the target audience, then mood boards, sketching.
Yep. And don't be afraid to name specific tools or methods, like card sorting for information architecture, A/B testing for design optimization. Shows you've got a system.
Love it. What if they want to dig deeper into one of those stages? Like, tell me more about user testing, or how do you handle feedback during prototyping?
Have a solid example ready. A project where user feedback changed the design significantly. Proves you're not all talking deferred. You use feedback to make your work better.
Okay, so structure, specific methods, real-world example. Got it. Question 4. How do you prioritize and manage your workload?
Juggling act. Mention tools you use, like project management software or even just to-do lists. But really focus on your strategies. How do you decide what's most important? How do you meet deadlines?
I use a Kanban board to visualize my workflow, and I prioritize based on urgency and impact on the project goals.
There you go. Tool A&D a method. Now, they might ask about conflicting deadlines or how you handle scope creep, when a project keeps growing and growing.
Ugh, scope creep, the worst. You've got to be able to set expectations, communicate clearly with clients, stakeholders.
Right, and be ready to talk about burnout prevention, work-life balance. They might be checking if you fit their company culture, too.
So it's organization, managing expectations, and taking care of yourself. Question 5. Can you describe your experience with UX design? Seems like a must-have these days.
Definitely a must-have. It's all about the USRR, not just how things look. Mention projects where you used UX principles, user research, wireframing, prototyping, usability testing.
So not just I'm familiar with UX, but
More like, in my last role, I did user interviews to find pain points in a mobile app's navigation. Redesigned it based on that, and it boosted task completion by 15%.
data speaks volumes. They might ask about a specific UX method, right?
Absolutely. Explain things like card sorting or eye tracking studies, even if it was just in school. Shows you know your stuff.
Gotcha. Show your UX knowledge. Be ready to get specific. Let's do question 6. How do you ensure your designs are accessible to all users?
This is about inclusive design. How do you bake accessibility into your work? Mention specific guidelines, like WCAG. Techniques you use, color contrast checks, alt text for images, that sort of thing.
So not just, I know about accessibility, but
When I'm designing a website, I always use the WCAG guidelines to make sure there's enough color contrast. I also test my designs with screen readers to catch any navigation problems for people using assistive tech.
that's great. You're not just aware of it, you're making it happen. They might ask about challenges you face with accessibility, right?
For sure. Or even give you a design and ask how you'd make it more accessible. Problem-solving time and your chance to be an advocate for inclusivity.
Nice. All right, question number 7. Can you describe your experience with video production and editing? Multimedia skills time.
Exactly. Don't just list software. What projects did you do? Where your video skills really made a difference.
Like, I edited a bunch of short documentaries for a nonprofit, used Adobe Premiere Pro, and the videos helped them get their message out there and raise awareness.
Perfect. Context, software, and the positive impact. They might want to know more about your editing techniques, though. Color grading, motion graphics, how you tell a story visually.
Okay, be ready to show off those video chops. Question 8. How do you incorporate feedback into your designs? This feels like it's about more than just saying okay to everything.
It is. It's about professionalism, collaboration. Show them you're a good listener. How do you process feedback? What do you do with it?
I encourage feedback all through the design process. I listen to understand why someone's suggesting something. Then I decide what to focus on based on the design goals, the user experience.
Nice. Now, what about tough feedback? Conflicting opinions. Have a story ready that shows how you handle those gracefully, how you turn feedback into something positive.
So it's about taking feedback and using it to get better. 2 more to go. Question 9. Can you describe your experience with HTML and CSS?
This is the tech side of things. You don't have to be a coding pro, but knowing some HTML and CSS shows you understand how websites are built.
So what if you're not a full-on web developer? What's the best way to answer this?
Highlight anything where you've used them. Even small website tweaks or personal projects. Mention specific elements you're familiar with. And if you've done responsive design or used CSS frameworks, definitely mention that.
Like, I've used HTML and CSS to build landing pages for marketing campaigns, and I made sure they worked well on different devices.
Perfect. You've got experience and you understand responsive design, super important these days. Now, they might ask about things like the box model or Flexbox, so it wouldn't hurt to brush up on those.
Good point. All right, last one. How do you create designs that align with a brand's visual identity?
This is about consistency. How do you translate brand guidelines into great visuals? Tell them how you research a brand, analyze their guidelines, and pick out key elements, their colors, their fonts.
So, like, when I'm working with a new brand, I really immerse myself in their visual language. I look at their website, their marketing stuff, their social media, to get a feel for their personality, their values.
Exactly. And have examples ready where you had to adapt your style to fit a brand's guidelines. Maybe even a project where you helped revamp a brand's look.
Okay, all 10 questions down.
Yeah.
Feeling pretty prepared now. But before we move on to career paths and future trends, let's talk about that RoleCatcher AI. You said it can help tailor answers for specific jobs. How does that work?
That's where RoleCatcher really shines. Their AI analyzes those job descriptions and figures out exactly what skills they're looking for. It's your research assistant.
So instead of just general interview advice, it's custom tailored to each job you apply for.
You got it. Helps you highlight those key skills in your resume, your answers. Makes you stand out.
That's pretty amazing. And it does even more, right?
Oh, yeah. It gives you AI-powered feedback on how you're answering. Analyzes your tone, your pacing, even catches those filler words we all use. It's like a practice run.
So you're not guessing what they want to hear. You're getting data, personalized feedback to nail those answers.
Precisely. Using technology to your advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, let's shift gears for a bit. When we come back, we'll dive into those exciting career paths for digital media designers and what the future holds for this awesome field. Welcome back. Before the break, we were all about acing that interview, right? But what happens after you get the job? What kind of career paths are we talking about here for digital media designers?
Exactly. What does that journey look like?
Well, RoleCatcher's career guide paints a pretty diverse picture, not one size fits all, which is great. You can find what fits your passion, your strengths. A lot of people start as a junior digital media designer, focusing on specific tasks, learning from senior designers.
Okay, so building that foundation, the portfolio, absorbing everything, where do you go from there?
As you gain experience, confidence, you move up to digital media designer. You're owning projects now, maybe leading some initiatives, and you might even specialize. UX, UI, motion graphics, 3D design, whatever clicks for you.
Honing those skills, becoming a leader. maybe even mentoring the newbies. What about for those who, they want to reach the top? What's the peak for a digital media designer?
For those who love to lead, inspire, there's the senior digital media designer, overseeing whole teams, shaping the creative strategy, working closely with stakeholders to make sure everything aligns with the business goals.
Wow, the big leagues. Leading the charge, driving innovation.
Yeah.
But what about those who want to go their own way? Is freelancing a real option in this field?
Absolutely. Tons of flexibility for digital media designers who freelance. You're picking clients, setting your rates, often better work-life balance. It's a fantastic way to build a diverse portfolio, work with different people, different industries.
So many options, whether it's corporate, freelancing, or even starting your own studio someday. So cool.
RoleCatcher actually has these profiles of digital media designers at different stages in their careers. It's super interesting to see how their roles change as they get more experience, how they've built their careers.
That's got to be so helpful, especially for someone just starting out or thinking about switching careers. Gives you a sense of what's possible. But let's be real, digital world changes so fast. How do you stay ahead of the curve? Make sure your skills are always relevant.
Great question. And RoleCatcher has some good advice on this. They're big on continuous learning. Online courses, workshops, industry conferences, design publications. Never stop being hungry to learn and grow.
Okay, but what should you be learning? What are those must-have skills that'll keep you in demand?
We've touched on it, but VR and AR, those immersive technologies, they're only going to get bigger across all kinds of industries. Designing for the metaverse. Think about that.
Designing for a world that doesn't even fully exist yet. Mind-blowing and a little scary. What else should designers be learning?
UX UI design is huge and getting bigger. We're interacting with technology everywhere, so those smooth, intuitive, enjoyable user experiences are key.
Yeah, no one wants clunky interfaces or apps that make you want to pull your hair out. What else should we add to our toolbox?
Motion graphics, animation, definitely in high demand, especially with all the short videos on TikTok, Instagram, capturing attention, telling stories visually. And even if you're not a coding expert, some basic HTML, CSS, maybe even JavaScript can be a huge advantage.
It's like you can speak the language, even if it's not fluent. It makes working with developers so much easier.
Exactly. And don't forget certifications. RoleCatcher talks about some good ones. Adobe Certified Expert, Certified Professional in Web Accessibility, Certified User Experience Professional. Those mean something.
Badges of honor. Shows you're serious about your skills. But certifications aside, what are some practical ways to showcase your skills? Stand out from the crowd.
An online portfolio, for sure. Your digital storefront shows off your best work, your style, your skills. Make it easy to navigate, visually appealing, and target it to the kind of work you want.
Like a curated visual resume. Only your top-notch stuff.
Precisely. And never underestimate networking industry events, online communities, design challenges. It's about building those connections, learning from each other.
Talking about learning, let's go back to that RoleCatcher AI for a sec. We talked about how it tailors answers for specific jobs. Walk me through that. How does it actually work?
It's pretty cool. Let's say you're going for a job that really wants someone with strong motion graphic skills. RoleCatcher's AI, it reads that job description, understands that's important. Then when you're practicing your answers, it'll guide you. Emphasize those skills. Suggest examples from your portfolio.
So it's not just talk about motion graphics. It's helping you actually craft those answers, specifically for what that employer is looking for.
That's it. And there's more. It gives you AI-powered feedback on your delivery, your tone, your pacing, even catches those filler words. It's a practice run.
Like an interview coach who's also a tech genius.
Right. Using technology to your advantage. And with that, I think it's time to look at the big picture, the future of digital media design.
All right, we've covered so much the interview, career paths, even how RoleCatcher's AI can help you get ahead. But now I'm thinking bigger picture. With tech changing so fast, what trends do you think will shape the future of digital media design?
It's the question every designer should be asking, right? Not just new software, but how tech is changing how we experience the world. It's a big one.
Like we're on the edge of something huge. Creativity and tech coming together to make things we haven't even imagined yet.
Exactly. And one of the most exciting things, I think, is immersive tech. VR, AR, mixed reality. They're blending the digital and the physical. Amazing opportunities for designers to make truly captivating interactive experiences.
Think about those VR games where you feel like you're actually in the game. Or AR, putting digital info on top of the real world. Sci-fi stuff, becoming real.
It's not just games, though. These immersive technologies are changing everything. Education, healthcare, how we shop, even manufacturing. So for designers, knowing how to design for these platforms, these experiences, that's going to be key.
A whole new world to design for, with its own challenges.
Yeah.
What else is on the horizon? What should designers be paying attention to?
AI, artificial intelligence. It's already changing design, automating tasks, generating ideas, making personalized experiences.
So AI is a tool for designers, not replacing them.
Right. Imagine AI analyzing user data to create designs that change based on what people like. Or generating tons of logo ideas so designers can focus on the big picture, working smarter.
That's wild, like an AI partner for your creativity. What other trends are we seeing?
Interactive, personalized content is huge. People don't want to just watch anymore. They want to engage, participate, even create with brands.
Making those connections, right? Content that speaks to you directly, invites you to be part of it.
Exactly. Designers need to think beyond static visuals. It's about dynamic, responsive experiences tailored to each person.
So designing experiences, not just things. What skills will designers need to succeed in all this?
Adaptability and always being willing to learn. Tech moves so fast, designers have to be okay with learning new tools, new platforms all the time, staying curious, experimenting, never stop learning.
Always learning new things. That's what keeps it interesting, right?
For sure. And user-centered design, that's only going to get more important. Tech is everywhere, so we need designers who understand people, empathy, accessibility, making experiences that are innovative but also inclusive, ethical.
Not just what we can design, but what we should design, making the digital world better for everyone.
Exactly. So the future of digital media design. It's exciting, but it's going to be shaped by the people who are ready for change, who push boundaries, who keep learning.
And remember, RoleCatcher has your back, the tools, the info that help you navigate all of this and make those digital dreams come true. So keep learning, keep experimenting, keep creating. The future is yours to design.